Hi everyone, hope everybody's good. I wanted to get back on this Eico model 324. Go ahead and get it finished up. Do an alignment on it. We'll check the resistors and everything. But I made a mistake in the last video. In fact, I even had penned a note, but I wanted to address that. I had made a mistake about capacitors. I do stuff like that all the time, and I apologize for it. But I said when you put two capacitors in parallel, it would half the capacitance, which is wrong. It will double the capacitance. And a lot of y'all spoke out on that, which to me is very positive. One thing, it lets me know that you guys are paying attention and you are watching the videos. Anyway, but yes, and just to show you, here is a single 10 microfarad capacitor, and when I go and check across it, see that one there checks at 9.2. So when we take another capacitor and we parallel across it, .9. So by paralleling the capacitance, it doubles. But if we take the capacitors and we put them in series, it will drop to half. You can see 4.77 microfarads. So I just wanted to clear that up, to let you know, yes, I made a mistake. I appreciate y'all pointing that out. I didn't even catch it when I edited the video, because I was new computer so much quicker. I usually just skip right on through it pretty quick. So yeah. Anyway, that will solve that issue. So back on the Eico, I went ahead and took the faceplate off and cleaned it up the best I can. Cleaned up all the knobs. There was a little rust on some of the washers back here, so I went ahead and polished them up and cleaned the banana jacks. So that's looking pretty good. You know, the inside of it, the copper is tarnished. I probably could take some Brasso or something and clean most of it up. But I just got the dirt off of it. Also, what I did, I went in here and mounted a fuse terminal under the bottom. So we're going to move the AC wire. Now I'm going to keep the 2-line cord on here, and we're going to give this thing away. So if somebody wants to change this, you know, I'll let y'all go at that yourself. So next thing we need to do is go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and wire this in, and we need to go in here and check the resistors. Okay, I went ahead and put some fuse in, got the AC wiring on, and have the safety caps on. Now, I had mentioned that I wasn't worried about a 3-wire cord in this system, and this is why. If we look at our schematic here, we can see that our AC lines, other than the wax caps that they had in here, it's completely floating, so it's kind of isolated, so you don't have to worry about that. There's not one side of the primary attached to ground, and when it's like that, I don't even worry about a 3-wire cord in it, especially when I'm using equipment. I thought that sometimes, you know, I may put a 3-wire cord in it, but in this instant I would not. But we're protected with our safety caps, and our primary is isolated from ground. I went ahead and desoldered this 470 k ohm resistor, and we want to check it and see where it's sitting at. And you see it's about 490k. Let's see if we can read this of the resistor here. This is a 270K. And it's about 304K. There's a 1K resistor here. And we're reading 1K. There's a 22K resistor down here. And we're close enough here. See, there's a 100K here. It's about 114K. But there's some other stuff in the circuit. Also, a lot of times you have to take these out of circuit, like I did this 470K, because I could not get it to read, because there was some other stuff in line that was dragging it way down. So those, we got a couple that's a little bit high. Like I say, this 470K is at about about 490K. It don't even want to read now. There it goes. It's about 490, so I may replace that one. Let's see, I got a new 470K here, and this 471K. That's a lot closer. I think I like that better. So we'll go ahead and replace that one. Hard spot to get to, especially from behind the camera. I went ahead and tested the rest of the other resistors, and everything is well within tolerance, no problem at all on those. So the only thing we had was that one 470K that was out just slightly. So I've checked the tubes are fine. So I think we're good to go on that. So if we notice on the back of the case, there's two holes here. So I'm going to utilize this hole right here, and I'm going to mount a BNC jack into the back of the chassis. And this will be our frequency counter port. So we can hook a frequency counter up without having to tee off the front. And this way it'll be at one constant level all the time. Okay, we got a BNC coming right out the back. As you can see, just got, when you put the screw in it, it'll be just about centered, and it fit right through that hole, no problem. Okay guys, I got the jack wired. I'll use small coax and ran it down close to the chassis up to the output of the oscillator before the attenuator. That way it has the constant signal that doesn't change going to the frequency counter port, and it's the coax is grounded on both ends, so that should work all right. Right now I'm on BNC. We're showing 1.2 megahertz on the dial, and you can see 1.2 megahertz on the counter. We go up to band D. And That would be 3.5 on the dial, and we're about 3.48. Thing is not off frequency far at all. So the only thing we need to do now is an alignment to it. Okay guys, I'm going to go ahead and do an alignment on this. I have the unit sitting here warming up. I got it on band A, and what we're going to do is band A goes from 150 to 400, so I'm going to set it at about 250 on the dial. Then we're going to adjust band A coil. Now the way you know that it's band A coil is that it's going to have the most turns on it. So you see this coil has 2 sets of coils around it, so it's got more work, because that's the lowest frequency. So we're going to adjust this slug for 250 kilohertz. And we can see that we at 247 already. So that's 250 kilohertz. Now I'm going to run it down to about 150. And that's 150. And we'll go all the way up to 400 kilohertz. And you can see it's a little bit off. Alright, we're going to go to band B. I got the dial set for 500 kilohertz. We'll adjust the next coil in line, and we'll do that all the way around. So we want this one at 500 kilohertz. .503, 502, and that's 500. So band B covers 400 to 1.2. So if I go to 400, we see we're at 410. And we'll go up to 1.2, and we're at 1.2. I use the center of the frequency and set it at center frequency. So we'll go to band C, which is 1.2 to 3.5. So we'll go to about 1.5, and we'll flip it over to band C, and we're at 1.6. So we'll adjust that one up. .5, and let's see how the edges look. I'll go down to 1.2. That's pretty close. That's 3.5. Alright, we'll go to band D, which is 3.5 to 11. So we'll set this at 6 megahertz. Like that's 6 megahertz. We'll go down to 3.5 and up to 11. That band is pretty close on the edge, it's not far off. Alright, band E and F. When you go to band E and F, there's no adjustment for band F. So we'll send band E to 20 megahertz. And looking at the counter, it's very close. Alright, 20 megahertz. Now, at 20 megahertz, band F should be at 70 megahertz. And you see it's at 66. That would be 70 megahertz approximately. So if I set the dial on 70, there is no adjustment there for it. Okay, so on this one there is no adjustment at all for band F. Band F uses a shunt, so there's no way to adjust that frequency for band F. So on the back here, underneath the jack, I put a little label saying frequency counter. And there you go, guys, one Eico Model 324 signal generator, all put back together, ready to go. Now, like I say, I'm going to give this away, and if you're interested, let me know down below that you want it, and I'll put your name in the hat, and in a couple of weeks we'll have a drawing on it. And I do require that you all subscribe to the channel. And for this piece of equipment, we're probably going to go local, United States only, instead of shipping this out of state. You know, it's a little bit of weight to it, so it would cost quite a bit to ship out of state. So let's try to keep it in the States on this one, and so can we find this thing a home. So guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Hope there was something here that helped you. And as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye now.